Vehine lahavin inyan libun hilchasa, and to understand the concept of purifying it, clarifying the halacha. V'gam inyan kol avoda basada, and also the concept of all the work in the field. V'chal yidei zeh yagilu lasid lavo, and how through this you will have the revelation in the time to come. Yish lahavin ksas pirish v'inyan melech meshubach mefor adiyad shmo gadol. We first need to understand the concept of the king who's praised and beautified forever, his great name. Look what it says about his great name. Parshas Miketz, it's about the Mamer, about the mezuzah on the right side. Parshas Shlach, b'dibur hamaskil ani avay lokeichem de Parshas Tzitzis b'diru shashini perek aleph ad kanaga. Because the whole purpose of the descent of the neshama to this world, it's a descent for the purpose of elevation. In order to through this elevation gaze at the pleasantness of Hashem in the world to come and the higher and lower gardens of Eden. That those gardens of Eden is the grasping of the souls, that they have a pleasure from the radiance of the Shekhinah, which is a pleasure, this awesome pleasure without end, infinitely. Now in the books it only mentions the higher and the lower garden of Eden. But the truth is that there's a number of levels of Gan Eden and pleasures, infinite levels. And that's praised and beautified forever, meaning all the levels of Gan Eden. Like our sages said, that the righteous do not have resting in the world to come. Like it says, they will go from strength to strength. And that pleasantness of Hashem and all that pleasure is from the revelation of His great name. That it's worth it, all the pains of Gehinom, in order to gaze at this pleasantness of Hashem. Like our sages said about Elisha Acher, that it's worth it for him to be judged, to go through the judgments to get to it, to reach that level of pleasure. Look what it says about this concept of the pleasantness of Hashem in Likutei Torah, about how Avaya has given you Shabbos. So we can explain what does it mean, the pleasantness of Hashem. That is to say, the pleasantness and the pleasure that comes from the name Havaya. And like the concept of a Shabbos to Havaya, how the world to come was created with Yud, and the Rebbe says on the bottom, it needs to be looked into, the intention here, what pleasantness we're talking about, the Shabbos Lavaya. And look in Torah or Vayakel, where it says that this is the concept of a Shabbos to Hashem, that is revealed, the supernal will that's beyond the name of Havaya. It's a Shabbos for the Shem Havaya, because something higher than Shem Havaya is revealed. And maybe this is in accordance with what it says in Zohar, Shabbos LaHavaya, Mamosh, that it's truly a Shabbos for Hashem. Or like it says in Likutei Torah Shir Hashirim in Basi Legani, when it says Vayichal Elokim, that the Elokim was was ended, that there's no more Elokim, because it was Nichlal above and so forth, or the dinim were Vayichal, because you have Iskalus of above. And back inside the Mamer, so we're talking about the concept of Yud Nivra Holam Haba, that Yud of Hashem's name comes the world to come. We're talking about the pleasure that comes from Hashem's name. Well, like the Yud of Hashem's name, Ach Od Yish Perush Noam Havaya, but there's another explanation on the pleasantness of Havaya, Al Derechas Tisanik Al Havaya, similar to the explanation on that you'll have pleasure upon Havaya. The Perush Bezor Vayichid, Afresh Mem Tesamud Aleph, that it explains in Zohar, Al Havaya Daika, that what does it mean? Upon Havaya, on Havaya specifically. Hainu Lamayla Mishem Havaya, that is to say, beyond the name Havaya. So, the explanation of Noam Havaya could be from Havaya. It's the pleasure of Havaya that's Nimshach from Havaya. Or you could say it's Al Havaya, that it comes from beyond the name Havaya. Like it says in Pardes, in the Erech of upon Havaya, Parshas Achri, Dafayin Teschulu, Vayin Mashakazim Izeb, Dibur Maschilu, Tihe Mishakele Vakara, Bepirush Vatispal Al Chana Al Havaya. Look what's brought in the Mamer on that you will not have a barren or miscarriage. In this, that Chana says that she prayed upon Havaya. It says about Chana. We can say that that's the same thing about the pleasantness of Havaya, meaning to say higher than Havaya. The pleasantness of Havaya, meaning beyond it. And we can say that this is the concept that's mentioned in the books about the two levels of Gan Eden. Gan Eden Elyon, while Derechas Tisaneg Al Havaya, that the higher Garden of Eden is the concept of then you'll have pleasure upon Havaya, Al Daika, specifically upon, meaning higher than, Valkenikra Gan Eden Ava Betanugim, and therefore the Garden of Eden is called a love of pleasures, Kihi Bina, because it's the level of Bina, Shehu Al Ziranpin, which is upon and higher than Za, Hanikra Havaya, that Ziranpin corresponds and is called the name Havaya. So the Bina, the Gan Eden Elyon, is upon that level. And therefore, the Holy One, blessed be He, comes to have enjoyment with the tzaddikim in Gan Eden. Parshas Achre, Daf Samach Zayin Amud Beis, V'sham Shezeu Inyanas Tisanik Al Havaya. That in there it says there in Zohar that that's a concept of having pleasure upon Havaya. V'gan Eden Hatachton, it's like it says, V'achalticha Nachlas Yaakov Avicha Nachal Bli Mitzarim. That Gan Eden Hatachton, Bechinos Malchus, and the lower Garden of Eden is the concept of Malchus, whereas the higher garden is Bina, the lower is Malchus, Shu Bechinos Shem Havaya, Shemekabel Shem Havaya. It's the concept of the name Havaya that is to say that receives from the name Havaya. And so too the concept of love of pleasures is in Chochmah Bina. That's above the concept of great love and love of the world, Shin Ma'uban, which are Ma and Ban, the Shem Ma and Shem Ban. And that's what it means. Then you'll have pleasure upon Havaya. That is to say, the pleasure and the pleasantness that comes from the source of pleasures, from His great name, Lihiyos nimshach b'shem Havaya, Yud Chach Mechulu, to be drawn into the name Havaya. The Yud is wisdom and so forth. I'm not sure exactly how this corresponds with Malchus. Like it says, that I sing to Hashem, Parshas B'Shalach, that there it explains the concept of to guard the path of Havaya. What is this path of Havaya? That is the way and the entrance, Lihiyos Shem Havaya, to have the name Havaya, meaning to say to draw down from beyond the name Havaya into the name Havaya. And in the Meori Or explains these two Perushim, Al Havaya and Nimshach from Shem Havaya. And from this you can understand the concept of praised and beautified forever and ever is his great name, because there are levels, elevations infinitely in this concept of to gaze at the pleasantness of Hashem. So too with the concept of his great name, there's also there's also two explanations. The first is that the name Havaya is called his great name, like it says that Havaya is great and very praised. So that's like Shem that's Gadol. That is that the other 7 names that are not erased, they're in the vessels of the 10 Sfiros. V'Shem Havaya, hu Ohr Hatorah Shemos, and the name Havaya is the light of these vessels of the 10 Sfiros. Nimshachim Hagvul Vat Simsum. V'Shem Havaya hu Ohr. The Shem Havaya is the light. U'Ma'akelim Deser Sfiros, and from the vessels of the 10 Sfiros, Nimshachim Hagvul Vat Simsum, comes the boundary and the confinement. Until the light comes, and the light in comparison is infinite. That's why the light of the vessels, Shem Havaya, is called his great name. And that's why it says that Havaya is greater than all the Elokim, all the Kelim, all the Tzimtzum. Like it says in the Mamer of the mezuzah on the right side, Shemur Shalal Kol Kuf Kaf Tzirufim Delokim, that it rules, the Shem Havaya rules over all 120 combinations of the letters of the name Elokim, the Shanos HaTeva, to change nature, Kanisim Niflos, like miracles and wonders, Shahayu B'Mitzrayim, that were in Egypt, Yotzim Me'ateva, that went beyond nature. So that's one Perush in Shem Havaya and Shema Gadol that refers to Shem Havaya as it's the Oros of the Kelim of Ezer Sfiros. HaPerush HaBei is the Shema Gadol U'Bechinas Keser. The second explanation in Shema Gadol is that it refers to Keser. V'al zeh nemar v'ligdulaso ein cheker. And about this it says that his greatness, and when we're talking about the concept of Gadol, so Gadol refers to Keser. And about this it says, V'ligdulaso, and to his greatness, ein cheker, there's no measure, Yashes choshech sisro, that he places darkness around him as his hiding place. Shelamayla b'bechinas or v'giloi, that's higher than the concept of light and revelation. Ki Gadol Havaya muhulal me'od bir Elokeinu, because Hashem is great and very praised in the city of Elokeinu. אבל בעצמיס ואין סוף ובחינס ולגדולתו אין חקר. But in his essence of the infinite light, it's a concept of his greatness. There's no measure. So he's very great in Yireh Elokeinu, but in his essence, there you also have Gedula. So we said that when he's in the Yireh Elokeinu, the Oros and the Kelim, you can also call him Gadol. But there's a concept of Gadlus, the second Perush, that it's Gedula so ein Cheker. It's a concept of Keser. Bigeres HaKodesh, Dibor HaMaschil, Ishes Chayla Teres Baila, Simen Kraftes, Perush Noam Havaya. And in Tanya, it says, Perush, what does it mean, the pleasantness of Havaya? There it implies that the pleasantness of Havaya are the concept of the tzachos that are higher than the levels of Keser. So, and there its inner concept. And so here you have another explanation on this concept. First we said Noam Havaya is Bina, and then we said it's Malchus. And now we're saying that really we have two Perushim in Shemu HaGadol, and Noam Havaya is even higher than that. And the Rebbe says on the bottom, Memailas HaKeser, Bigeres HaKodeshu, Memailas HaKeser. So it doesn't say Milos, in plural, levels of Keser, rather the level of Keser, higher than the level of Keser. Al derech mashal ad ganashona. There, so to speak, the tzachtzachos, so to speak, the inner concepts of Keser. V'yishlomar, we can say the hainu bechinas eser sfiros haganuzus, that is to say, the 10 hidden sfiros. Shal ze amru razal ad shelo nivra ha'olam hayahu v'shmo bilvad chulu ad kanaga. That about this level it says that until the world was created, he and his name were alone. That what's the concept of his name before creation? It's the 10 hidden spheros, like we say Yashas Choshech Sisro, the concept of Keser, or even higher. You were saying it's even higher, the concept of tzachos. V'hini amru zal. Now our sages said beperakama de brachos, Shalosh matanos tovos nitnu l'Yisrael, that there were 3 good gifts that were given to Israel: Torah v'Eretz Yisrael v'olam haba, the Torah, the land of Israel, and the world to come. V'kulam lo nitnu ela yidei surim, and all 3 were only given through difficulties and travails. L'chein amru razal. Therefore our sages said, Barabus Parshas lech Parsha mem dalet she'Avraham bacher lo shibud Mitzrayim tachas yisurei gehinom. And that's why Avraham chose the subjugation in exile in Egypt instead of the pains of Gehinnom. That the concept of Gehinnom is in order to purify the soul from its sickness of the bad, but that's inside it, like a crucible for silver, that the dregs and the unnecessary parts are purified in the crucible, and the silver remains clean without dregs, in order for the soul to receive the light of pleasure, the supernal pleasure, to have a pleasure in Havaya, it has to first go through a purification of the fire of Gehinnom, to divide the bad away from the good, because it says that bad will not dwell with you. And like the mashal of the kesef, in order to have the kisuf, the desire towards Hashem. Perhaps. So look about what it says about this idea that bad cannot dwell with you. And we can say that this has to do with cleansing from the bad that the snake placed into Chava. Vihine Avraham Bachar lo Shibud Mitzrayim. Now Avraham chose the exile, subjugation in Egypt, Shugamkin Bechinas Tziruf Lenefesh, which is also a concept of purifying the soul. That Rebbe says on the bottom, Shibud Mitzrayim b'Torah or Hu Lenachon. Now in Torah, or the lashon is more correct. It says Shibud Golos. They didn't choose just Shibud Mitzrayim, but in general, the subjugation of exile. And so too later on in this Mamer. So too beforehand in this Mamer. Maybe the one who wrote down this Mamer didn't write it down that way because he was afraid of the government. And back in the Mamer, like it said, that he took us out from the crucible of iron from Mitzrayim. So we see that Mitzrayim is called like a crucible, like we said, to purify. And the exile of Edom is called the crucible of poverty by the Navi. Look what it says about this in the Mamer about Noach and Yisro, how all the nations saw the voices, and the Rebbe says on the bottom, look what Chatz Eagle Khan, that where the Rebbe where he puts the star, the Rebbe says that's where the end of the Chatz Eagle should be, or that's where it should start. I'm sorry. Look what it says. Look what it says about the Korah Barzel. All of this is not in Torah Ohr. This Hagahos. Maybe they made the mistake when they wrote it down because of the Chatz Eagle. Instead of saying B'dibur HaMaskil Parshas Noach, it should say Maim Rabim, because I don't know if there's a Mamer that starts by Parshas Noach. Okay, so back inside, it says Minyan Shemitzrayim Nikra Korah Barzel, with this concept that Mitzrayim is called the crucible of iron, Achaneshama Hib Nivreis Ubal Gvul. But the soul is a creation and a confined entity. And it's impossible for the soul to receive the revelation of the supernal pleasure, which is without boundary, only through the soul's enclothing in enclothing this light of pleasure in a vessel. Like it says, that he surrounds himself with light like a garment, Ohr Hatorah, which is the light of Torah. And for example, like below, that the beginning of revelation of pleasure is in Chachma. And like we see, that when a person understands a new idea, they get filled with pleasure. So the Gilui Tainug is in Chachma. So if you want to have this pleasure from above, you have to draw it down into the vessel of Torah. And just like the mashal and the nefesh, the Tainug is in Chachma. And this is the concept that a river comes out of Eden to water the garden. That's the concept of the supernal crown. So where is it coming out from? It's coming out from Eden. That's the Keser. Therefore, it says about Eden that no eye has seen you, that a river comes out for it. To water the garden. That refers to the 53 sidros of the Torah, the Parshas, 53 Parshas in the year. So again, it's the concept of the Torah being the levush for this. Because Torah comes from wisdom, from Chachma, and the enclosement of the infinite light is only in Chachma. The strength of what? The concept of nullification. And what are we? Therefore, through Torah, the neshama can grasp his great name, which is the concept of the supernal crown, the Malchus of Ein Sof, which is called his great name, which is enclosed and drawn down into Chachma. That Keser goes to Chachma. Why is it called his great name? Because the whole Torah are names of the Holy One, blessed be He. So when we say Meshubach Mefor Ad Shemo HaGadol, his great name, we're talking about the slab shus of Chachma into Torah for the neshama to have a pleasure from it, the radiance of Keser. And that's why it says, praised is the one who comes here and his Talmud is in his hand, meaning to say, he has the lavush for the Ohr Parshas Bahar. B'dibur hamaschil kisavo el haaretz chulu v'shavsa haaretz chulu v'ayin mashikazim mizeh b'dibur hamaschil v'yeh etzlo amon gabei v'yeh shashum yom yom v'mashikazu b'dibur hamaschil v'yeh miketz shnasayim yamim b'dibur hasheni v'ayin mashikazu b'dibur hamaschil b'sumi b'puraya shlechein nikra hatorah Mashal HaKadmoni. And look in the Puri Mamer that says that therefore the Torah is called the supernal allegory. That it's like a mashal and a lavush to the seichel. Shkemoshi afshel hasik seichel amok me'od bleed mashal. That just like you cannot understand a deep idea without a mashal, without an allegory. Kach Torah shi chachmei la hi mashal sheyochel hasik al yedizeh chachmei la. So too the Torah, which is the supernal wisdom, it's an allegory that through it you can understand the supernal wisdom of chachmei la. And the Rebbe says on the bottom, al yedizeh chachmei la k'niret tzarich lios like al yedei chachmei la or al yedizeh keser elyon. The Rebbe says that it needs to be through Chachmei La, or through this Keser Elyon, or Aydizeh Atik Yamin, or through this Atik. And the end of the line, Bechinas Kadmon Shel Olam, or Sof Baruch Hu, needs to have a Chatzi Eagle at the end, because this is the parentheses, it starts from the line Shemosov. So through this you can grasp Keser, the Bechinas Kadmon Shel Olam, the concept of the supernal one of the world, or Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the infinite light, may he be blessed. Ketzer, so in short, Ohr Hatorah, the concept of the Torah, because the ultimate purpose is to have a pleasure in the radiance of Hashem's pleasure. Supernal pleasure from Hashem's name, or like the concept of then you'll have a pleasure on Havaya. The Karav Lomar, we can say that both explanations are true. That's the concept of the higher and lower Garden of Eden, and the two explanations of Binoam Havaya and Al Havaya. That is to say that he's very praised forever, his great name. And within his great name, there's two explanations. Vishneim emes, and both are true also. Aleph, the Shem Havaya and the Shemo Gadol. The first is that his great name is called His great name is called Shem Havaya, Godol Havaya, like it says that Havaya is great, Mikol Elokim, from all the Elokim, Uksiv Godol Havaya Umuhul Almeod, and it says Havaya is great and very praised. Habesh Shu Mashikos Viligdula Su Ein Cheka, and the second is that Gdula doesn't refer to Hashem's name, but His greatness is without measure, you can't find it. That is with you is the source of life. You can only come to the concept of having pleasure in Hashem's name through the purification and getting rid of the bad, because bad will not be with you. And Avraham chose the subjugation of Mitzrayim, or like the Rebbe says, Golos, instead of Gehinom. That Mitzrayim was called the crucible of iron, or Koroni, or the crucible of poverty. But nonetheless, with all this, you can only gaze at Hashem's pleasantness through Torah, which is the levush. That's why it says, I sit in the house of Havaya. Torah, that's the letters of Torah. What's that house? The place where it dwells. And only through that, like David says, to gaze at the pleasantness of Havaya. And that is because Torah is wisdom, and in it is enclosed the supernal pleasure, which is called the pleasantness of Havaya. And that's why it says, I will be for him a pleasure day by day, every day. And only afterwards it says, and a pleasure for the sons of man. That there's two stages. One is beyond grasping, and one is after you have the levush. That the Torah is the shashuim, and through that, v'shashu is b'nei adam. And therefore sages said, that praised is the one who comes here and his Talmud is in his hand. And that's why the Torah is called the supernal allegory. It's an allegory for what's beyond in order to understand it and grasp it and have the pleasure in Havaya.